One local family worked to organize a vaccine clinic after losing a family member to COVID. Fox 61's Ashley Afonso brings us that story from Hartford.
A COVID-19 vaccine clinic with an extra special meaning. In April of last year, the Wilson family lost their father, Leroy, to complications of COVID-19. Saturday, they partnered with First Choice Health Centers to try and prevent anyone else from losing a loved one.
I'm getting emotionally because it's overwhelming that we had to lose him from the COVID. But other people can benefit for it if they get it, so they can live too.
They brought the vaccine clinic right into the community at the Ebenezer Temple on Main Street in Hartford, hoping to reach some of the most vulnerable or hesitant.
I think it's really good to have the clinic because there are still people who really want to have the vaccine but can't get to it for whatever reason. Some people are having issues with complication, with transportation, and making phone calls to get that transportation. Some people are just unsure about where to go.
Shayna reminding anyone who may be hesitant why they should consider getting vaccinated.
We actually were in the hospital together, and I came home and he did not. And so it's important that I want other people to come home like I did. I want other people to have their dads and grandfathers and uncles around for a long time.
And they'll be holding a similar clinic just like this one at the Ebenezer Temple again on June 5th. In Hartford, Ashley Afonso, Fox 61 News.